Father, we are grateful for the love that you've shown each one of us, the graduating seniors, and for the opportunities that you've given us to respond to that love and to share that love with others during these past 4 years. This evening we come to you, not in a ceremonial prayer, but in a prayer of faith, believing that you are our source, that you are involved in our lives, that you are responding to our needs, and that you are directing our paths as we acknowledge you. As we come to such a major stepping stone in the path of our lives, we give thanks for all the efforts that have been poured into our lives through our parents and teachers, and the many people of this community who have done so much to encourage us and enrich our educational environment. We're also grateful for the recognition and the honors that this district has received because of the dedication and service of the students before you this evening. But we know that the real fruit of our labors will be revealed as we, young men and women, move on to accomplish the goals that you have for us. So our prayer this evening is this, that you will touch our lives in such a way that will enable us to reach our total potential, that we will seek your wisdom and your strength in all of our endeavors, that our eyes will be focused on you so that we can receive every blessing that you have for us, that we will be filled with a desire to serve you and our fellow man, and finally, that nothing will separate us from your mercy and love. Thank you. Will you please be seated?
Good afternoon. As president of the senior class, I am both honored and delighted to welcome all of you to commencement on behalf of the class of 1998. Welcome to the administration and faculty. Your patience with us for the last 12 years has enabled each of us to pursue knowledge to our highest potential. Welcome to friends and family. Your laughter and encouragement has helped each of us survive through fear and doubt. Finally, a special welcome to all the parents. You each have done more than each of us could have ever imagined. You have unselfishly given all of yourselves to ensure that each of our futures are bright. I thank you for everything you've done, and on behalf of my classmates, I would like to say I love you and thank you to all the parents. Welcome to all, and thank you.
When I was told that I would be given a moment to speak to my classmates at graduation, I had no clue what I wanted to say. Did I want to make my speech inspirational, reminiscent, motivational, or thankful? I had an idea for a speech, but last night I had a conversation with a dear friend who inspired me to rethink my words. As I look back on my 4 years of high school, I realize that 2 words have put me where I am today. Those 2 words are so simple yet so powerful. These 2 words are I can. We have all loved, hated, suffered, and grieved. We have experienced tragedy and witnessed beauty. However, we are young and we have only begun to truly live. My strength and hope rests in those 2 words. I can be happy. I can get through this. I can forgive. And I can be myself. When I would repeat those 2 words over and over in my head, all the I cans became I dids. As we step away from our lives right here, right now, we can only be sure of one thing, and that is that nothing is certain. We have been blessed in our childhood, but now we must stand at the edge of the light. We need to take that first faithful step into the darkness of the unknown. We are anxious and nervous. We are excited and scared. But whatever we do, we must illuminate that darkness with the promise and the hope of tomorrow. This is a time for celebration and happiness, and I'm sure each and every one of you has been given hours of advice on how to succeed in college and in life. My advice will take less than a second. If you remember anything, please remember this. Each and every one of you can. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my friends without whom I could not be here today. I'd like to thank those special people who have helped me grow. I would like to thank my teachers who have pushed me to the limit without breaking me. That means you too, Mrs. Cross. I would like to thank my coaches who have taught me the importance of attitude. And I'd really like to thank my mother and father for giving me life and then teaching me how to love it. I haven't always been the perfect daughter, but they always seem to overlook my flaws and treat me like perfection. But I would especially like to thank my sister. Although she does not know it, she's been my role model, my motivation, and my competition. But most importantly, she's been my friend. I love you, Mom, Dad, and Jen. Congratulations and best of luck to all of you, class of 1998. I have no doubt that you can and that you will.
First and foremost, I would like to thank my parents, my brother Sean, and all of my friends for their love and support, which has been so valuable to me. I would also like to thank all of the teachers and other faculty members who have helped me to grow and learn during these 4 years at high school. And believe me, I have learned a lot. However, I must admit that the most important things that I have learned are not those for which I did homework or for which I received a test grade, but rather those lessons of life which I learned about myself and about the world, which go far beyond the importance of any percentage points received on a test. I will share some of these lessons with you, but first I would like to read part of a poem written by Alton Maiden entitled The Dash. Alton Maiden was a football player at Notre Dame who, although not the best poet, presents a very inspirational message. Under the person's name, it read the date of birth, dash, and the date the person passed. But the more I think about the tombstone, the important thing is the dash. Yes, I see the name of the person, but that I might forget. I also read the date of birth and death, but even that might not stick. But thinking about the individual, I can't help but remember the dash, because it represents a person's life, and that will always last. So when you begin to charter your life, make sure you're on a positive path, because people may forget your birth and death, but they will never forget your dash. The dash is what we do with our lives, and what impact we make on the world. It is based on who we are and how we live, not on the number of possessions we own or the amount of money that we have. We all have the power to control our dashes and shape our future to make our dashes meaningful. During these 4 years at high school, I've learned some things that have given me insight into how to make our dashes meaningful. First, I've learned that we should not be afraid to look beyond ourselves to see a whole world that could use our help. As Colleen Hightower stated, a true measure of your worth includes all of the benefits others have gained from your success. In other words, she is saying to be a stepping stone, not a stumbling block to other people. Also, I have learned that what we put into life is directly proportional to what we will get out. We gain so much more from life when we avoid filtering our experiences through our preconceived notions and do not simplify everything into little boxes or categories. Because the world is so complex, we need to find something that we are passionate about and dedicate our lives to that goal. And while it is important to have goals, also remember the importance of dreaming. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "I have a dream." He did not say, "I have a strategic plan." Dreams give us the power to believe, and they can make things happen when strategic plans just don't cut it. I would like to wish you all the best of luck in following your dreams and encourage you to make your dashes profound, starting now, because it is what we do now that influences who we are and what our dash is. Remember that the only time that really exists is the present, and is what we do each minute that forms what impact we make and who we become, which forms our dashes. We have the power to shape our lives and to make our dashes meaningful. We should always use this power because when everything else is gone, the dash is the legacy of our lives that will always remain.
Hello, everyone. I can't help but think how lucky we are to be going off on a senior trip to Ocean City and into some safe college somewhere, while many of our grandparents graduated and enlisted in the Army. And by the time we'd be going off to college, they were already on the front lines of World War II and the Korean War. Many of our parents enlisted right after their graduations as well, and were in Vietnam within a few months. Lucky for us, we don't have to face that harsh reality. Thank God for that. That's all I really wanted to leave with you, class. So go out and make some good memories with your friends in your last few months together, and remember how lucky you are. Buddies and Dee, I'll never forget you. Mom and Dad, I love you. Thank you very much. And I think I got about a minute left, so I'm going to give that to Eddie.
Thanks, Timmy. I always did well on the essay questions. Just put everything you know on there, and maybe you'll hit it. And then I'd get the paper back from the teacher, and she's just written one word across the top of the page. Vague. I thought vague was a kind of vague word to say, so I'd write underneath it, unclear, and send it right back to her. She'd return it to me with ambiguous scrawled right across the top. I'd send it back to her, cloudy. We're still corresponding to this day. Hazy, fuzzy, foggy. And that's how I think life is sometimes. Just a big, vague muddle, or a big, complex maze. A labyrinth, if you will, with people plunging blindly in and searching for comprehension, a way out. But then, every so often, you find people rushing wildly back, shouting that they have found it, that they have found the answers. See, in my little journey through the maze of life, despite all the haziness and cloudiness, I've managed to pick up a few important things. I found something that I wanted, and always will want. And possibly some of you share this same desire. Not to be admired, as I had once feared, and not to be loved, as I had once made myself believe, but to be necessary to people, indispensable, to give people a sense of security. So here we are, a new generation, shouting the old cries, learning the old creeds, destined finally to go out into that dirty turmoil to follow love and pride. A new generation dedicated more than the last to the fear of poverty and the worship of success. Know that you can grow, that you can accept what is acceptable or unacceptable. Roam, grow, rebel, and then remember the Dr. Seuss books you read when you were younger, and the first word you learned, the biggest word of all, look. Because everything you need to know is in there somewhere if you take the time to look hard enough. In the next few years, our ideas will definitely be in commotion. We will need to use all our energy and patience just to get by and stay focused. But remembering all the while to look at the big picture and to look at the endless possibilities open to us. There may be ever the pain of memory, the regret for a lost youth. Yet, when we look into our souls, the waters of disillusion will have left a deposit, responsibility, and a love of life. Ultimately, while life may not always be a maze, it is truly always a ride. We're all strapped in, and no one can stop it. When the doctor slaps you behind, he's ripping your ticket away, and away you go. As you make each passage from childhood to youth to maturity, sometimes you put your arms up and scream, and sometimes you just hang on the bar in front of you. But the ride is the thing. I think that if, at the end of life, your hair is messed up, you're out of breath, and that you didn't throw up, you wrote it pretty well. Boys and girls, parents, sister, teachers, and God, thanks for making high school such a great ride.
As I stand before you on this June afternoon, I realize that June is the month of the Gemini twins. One twin faces the future, the other the past. With this image in mind, let's look back for a moment, all the way back to 1985. Remember the first day of kindergarten? I do. I remember feeling both scared and excited, like a lot of us did that day. Although it was strange and frightening at first, we all adjusted because we made new friends. Somehow, the whole kindergarten experience, from playing house to learning our ABCs to falling down on the playground, forged friendships that stayed with us for years. From that first day in 1985 to this last day of high school, there is one important thing I have learned, and that is, as Robert Fulghum says in his famous book, all I really need to know, I learned in kindergarten.
While reading this book, I came across two ideas that I'd like to share with you today. The first one is, live a balanced life. Learn some and think some, and draw and paint, and sing and dance and play and work every day some. The second one says, always remember, no matter how old you are, when you go out into the world, it's best to hold hands and stick together. When we were younger, we didn't think about living a balanced life or sticking together. It came to us naturally. Life is a little more complicated now, but I find these ideas still hold true. For 12 years, we learned and laughed and fought and cried together. We learned to appreciate the importance of balance, juggling school, family, friends, jobs, and other demands. We stuck together through the highs and lows and became the best of friends. Now, like the Gemini twin looking to the future, we too are scanning the horizon to see what lies ahead of us. We stand on the threshold between childhood and independence. It is time to say goodbye for now to our families, our friends, our teachers, and our school. We take with us our memories, our experiences, and our bonds of friendship. As we go our separate ways and take our first steps in the real world, let's always remember what kindergarten taught us, to keep balance in our lives and to stick together. I'd like to thank my teachers and all the friends and family members who have given me support through the years, especially my brother, my sisters, and most of all, my parents. Congratulations to the class of 1998, and good luck.
First, I would like to thank all of the teachers that I've had during my years of school for teaching me things that I will remember and use for the rest of my life. I would also like to thank my family for devoting an incredible amount of time and effort to supporting and motivating me every day. I would like to thank my mother for giving me moral and spiritual guidance, my father for instilling within me the value of responsibility and hard work, and my sister for being someone I can talk to that is able to relate to my view of the world. As I reflect on all the things that each one of us graduating today has accomplished, and all of the experiences that we've had in our years here, I also realize that there are many more challenges, disappointments, and successes that await us in the future. Growing up and going through school has given us many experiences that will prepare us for what lies ahead. And even though we can never be totally prepared for the future, I feel that we've got a great start. Although graduating from high school gives us a sense of finality, we must remember that we have just barely lived 1/4 of our lives, and things are far from over. So as we all look towards the future, I would like to wish everyone good luck in everything that you do, and I'm positive that you will succeed.
John Lennon of the Beatles wrote, "In the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make." This lyric is not merely a line in a song, but a truism applicable to various experiences in life. An experience is what you make of it. The benefits you receive are determined by the amount of effort you exert. High school is a conglomeration of such experiences. Much emphasis is appropriately placed on the academic experiences of high school and the correlation between effort and result. However, high school is not only about learning, but also about growing. One facet of high school through which extensive growth occurs is friendships. Friendships are truly a relationship where the love you take equals the love you make. We have learned a lot in classes during high school, but a large part of our learning and growing has occurred as a result of our experiences outside of classrooms. Each of our friends has provided exposure to numerous unique experiences through which we have grown to be who we are today. In 20 years, we will probably have forgotten much of what we learned in classes and may remember only a few of our teachers, but our memories of our friends and the experiences we shared will remain radiant in our minds. The message the Beatles were expressing is that friendships do not come without work. As we all progress to new chapters in our lives, most of us will be leaving our old friends and making new ones. These new friendships cannot simply replace the old, and with continued effort,
Our old friendships will endure while we forge new ones. As we shape our futures, we must always remember that we can make out of our lives whatever we want, especially with a little help from our friends.
Dr. Pope, Mrs. Baldwin, Board of School Directors, parents, teachers, friends, and members of the class of '98. Welcome to the 1998 Upper St. Clair High School commencement ceremony. As I mentioned at this year's National Honor Society induction, my mom and dad have a license plate on the front of their '86 Pontiac that says, "Let me tell you about my grandchildren." And believe me, if you give them the slightest chance, they will. I feel the same way about the class of '98. Since I have the microphone here this evening, let me tell you about this senior class. Among other achievements, the class of '98 represents 12 National Merit semifinals, 16 commended students. This means that 10% of this class has been formally recognized by National Merit. This is truly an amazing statistic. 7 valedictorians, 4 students in regional chorus, 4 National Orchestra semifinals, 4 WPIAL championships, 1 state runner-up, an overall record in athletics of 230 wins, 92 losses, which is an impressive 71% winning record. 3 students are attending Harvard University, which is remarkable for a school of our size. 4 Service Academy appointments, 1 each at West Point and the Air Force, Coast Guard, and Naval Academies. Most importantly, the Colgate connection goes on. 2 students going on to Colgate University, my alma mater. Dr. Kosel recently pointed out an interesting geographic distribution to me. Our students have selected schools reaching into 24 different states. This class is anxious to venture out in pursuit of their goals. By the way, this should also help enhance my college hat collection. Our school district is widely recognized for its excellence in education and the achievement of its alumni. The class of '98 exemplifies the high standards represented by the tradition of Upper St. Clair. Dr. Pope, as principal of Upper St. Clair High School, I do hereby certify that the students gathered before us have met the requirements for graduation as mandated by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the Upper St. Clair Board of School Directors. Dr. Pope, it is with great pleasure that I present to you the Upper St. Clair High School class of 1998.
I'll start by taking that off. This should be one of the happiest and most exciting times of your life. Someone once asked me what the audience expects of the commencement speaker at graduation. I said a commencement speaker is like being the father of the bride at the wedding. Everybody knows you have to be there, but nobody expects you to say very much. Well, I promise not to say very much. On the other hand, I tried to identify some of the kinds of commencement speeches that have been popular over the years. And I found this wonderful book called Graduation Day, The Best of America's Commencement Speeches. I read the entire book and was amazed that none of my previous 9 commencement speeches to the graduation class of Upper St. Clair were included. Some of what you will hear today will be directly from the Graduation Day book, and some will be my own personal thoughts. I hope that all of us will walk away with something to remind us of this glorious day in the sun or the clouds or whatever. I have been advised, however, to never offer advice to the graduates or tell them about the future. throwing caution to the wind, let me share the famous author Kurt Vonnegut's advice which he delivered at a commencement address at MIT in 1997. Mr. Vonnegut, who is required reading in every English reading list in Upper St. Clair, his advice in 1997 was simply, wear sunscreen. Not profound, but practical. Maybe I'll try to keep my remarks within the comfort and simple realm of practicality. Of course, Mr. Vonnegut must not have spent much time in Pittsburgh, where the sun shines less than 50 days a year. Sunscreen here may not be the most practical advice for today. Mr. Vonnegut was on a roll, however, at MIT because he violated the other cardinal rule of commencement speeches. He spoke to the audience about the future, and I quote, "Don't worry about the future. Well, worry, but know that worrying is about as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubble gum. I personally have spent a lot of time trying to solve algebra problems, and I was much more successful at chewing bubble gum." Well, now to my superintendent's list of practical thoughts for the class of 1998. Number one, June 7th is the day that you start to forget everything you learned in high school. To keep those brain cells active, do one thing every day that really scares you. For me, that is driving. For your parents, that is riding with you. And for my wife, that's trying to find a place to park at Giant Eagle. Number two, you have my permission today to act as if you are indispensable. Tomorrow you would join the rest of us who know we are not and prove it to the world daily. Number three, girls, don't despair. After all, baby kittens don't begin to open their eyes for 6 weeks after birth. Men generally take about 26 years. Number four, remember to chill a little. You can't wear a boxing glove on each hand. If you do, it gives people the wrong impression of you, and most important, you need an empty hand to hold that remote. Number five, mothers always know best, but every once in a while, just every once in a while, fathers know something too. Always give your parents a chance to offer their advice. Remember, it is based on wisdom, experience, and a willingness to pay the bills, at least for now. Number six, always believe in love at first sight. But if he or she offers you a breath mint, accept it. Number seven, your parents and I are willing to accept the fact that some music just isn't meant for regular people like us to listen to. And guess what? No matter how loud you turn up 9 Inch Nails, it doesn't sound any better. And number eight, if you don't do anything else in this life, love someone and let someone love you. Unconditionally, just like your parents do. I couldn't say enough to you today without congratulating the faculty and administration for doing it again, for having performed the magic one more time. You must feel a great sense of honor and pride as you look at these graduates and their families. To the families, the mothers, fathers, wives, husbands, children, sisters, brothers, grandparents, aunts, and uncles, and all the friends here today, I know it is in all of your hearts. Love, pride, and relief. Let me close my remarks with a poem about children, school, and celebrations. It traces our adventure that began elementary school and brought us together to graduation on this field today. I celebrate children who laugh out loud, who walk in the mud and dawdle in the puddles, who put chocolate fingers anywhere, who like to be tackled, who scribble in church, who whisper in loud voices, who run and laugh when they fall, who cry at the top of their lungs, who cover themselves with Band-Aids, who squeeze toothpaste all over the bathroom, who slurp up their soup, who chew cough drops, who ask a million questions, who give us sticky, paste-covered creations, who always want their pictures taken, who don't use napkins, who bury their goldfish, sleep with their dog, scream with their best friends, and hug us in a hurry and rush outside without their hats. I especially celebrate teenagers who are so busy living that they don't have time for hang-ups. And I celebrate the adults who are as children. Thank you for allowing me this special moment. I will never forget it. May your future be worthy of your dreams. Congratulations, and God bless the class of 1998. Madam President, it is my honor and privilege to present to you the Upper St. Clair class of 1998. They have completed the requirements of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and those of our own Board of Education. Mrs. Bowles.
So, you're feeling unimportant because you've got nothing to say, and your life is just a ramble. No one understands you anyway. Well, I've got a piece of news, son, that might make you change your mind. Your life is historically meaningful and spans a significant time. A verse from the song Slumber by the American punk rock group Bad Religion. It reminds me of the songs I heard from rock groups during the year in which I graduated 30 years ago this month. 1968 was a tumultuous year in America. Vietnam War, assassinations, riots in the streets, social disruption, and campus unrest. Young people of my generation were speaking out across America and wanting to be heard. They believed that their voices were meaningful and would make a difference. Today is a much different time in America and the world. America is at peace. We are economically, militarily, technologically, and culturally strong. We should be rightfully satisfied with our accomplishments and our position. Should you and your generation be satisfied with status quo? Should you blindly accept what is going on in the world, in America, in the state of Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh, in Upper St. Clair, or even in your own home? It would be a mistake to do so. There are constant pressures on our society and our personal lives from many sources to move in directions which may be counter to our way of life or the type of future you may want. At any time, a confluence of those pressures could force undesirable changes upon us. Can you make a difference? The answer is yes. As the song says, your life is historically meaningful, but I could add, only if you make it so. Understand what is going on around you. Keep informed and up to date on local, national, and international events. And most of all, get involved. You have earned the right. You are now graduated from Upper St. Clair High School and now and or still will be of legal age. Do not be shy or afraid to get involved. Find your own way to make a difference in the significant time which is left, the rest of your life. For a moment, take a step back and look at all that you have done with your life to this point in time. Look around you at all the people here today that have influenced your life and whom you, in turn, have influenced. You cannot help becoming involved and influencing other people's lives as you continue down the road of life. Continue to encourage, support, and strengthen those who you meet along the road you travel, and you will find they will do the same for you. You have the power within you to find happiness and to bring happiness to others. Use your education, your talents, your love, and your strength to bring about meaningful change in the world around you. Make this world the best it can be. Create a caring and loving shelter in which to raise your children. Then give your strength to them and watch them follow in your footsteps. Watch them bloom and grow into great leaders who will find their strength in your roots. And don't forget your roots, the people that have helped you along your travels. These are the people from whom you will constantly rejuvenate your strength, whether you realize it or not. This graduation holds a special meaning for me today. One of you has been part of our family for the past 12 years and has shared many days and nights with our family, talking about life, its ups, its downs, accomplishments, and disappointments. He has been there when we needed help, and he has also given us the opportunity to help him. He achieves a significant accomplishment today, one of life's milestones. He is part of your graduating class. I personally wish him well and thank him for being a part of our family life. I shall always think of him as my second son. Good luck to you, Matt. As I reminisced about those times of sharing, I remember talking about anxieties, fears, opinions, beliefs, likes, and dislikes. It was healthy to talk about those things. It brought about understanding. Talking things through, understanding others, and giving others an opportunity to understand you are critical in today's fast-paced, technologically driven, materialistic world. In closing, my message to you, the class of 1968, is that involvement and understanding are two aspects of your life you can personally control. Incorporating both attributes into your life will contribute to your ability to achieve personal happiness and success, and in turn, make this world a better place for those around you. May you achieve that happiness and success, and may you seek as you go forward from this place and time to carry it with you always. Congratulations, and God bless you, the class of 1968. One thing for sure, I am in memory lane today. And I really was reminiscing what it was like to be sitting in the chairs that you're sitting in today. I remember the excitement and the desire to just get out as soon as I can. So hustle forth, go forth in this world, be the best that you can be, and make this world a better place for all of us. Congratulations, class of 1998.
Let's go.
Michelle Elizabeth Boss, President of the Class of 1998.
William Thomas McArdle III, Treasurer, Class of 1998.
Julie Ann McMillan, Vice President, Class of 1998.
Kristen Lee Nielsen, Secretary, Class of 1998.
Benjamin Rector Byatt, Vice President, Student Council.
Kelly Maureen Doran, Valedictorian, Class of 1998.
Meredith Elise Bell, valedictorian, class of 1998, and president of Student Council.
Timothy James Hobbs, valedictorian, class of 1998.
Edward Dong Uk Lim, valedictorian, class of 1998.
Andrew Joseph Nam, valedictorian, class of 1998.
Romita Mukherjee, valedictorian, class of 1998.
Laura Michelle Rosenberger, valedictorian, class of 1998.
Jennifer Marie Akawi.
Benjamin Anton Long.
William Lee Ali II.
Michael Paul Lorenzi.
Lindsay Danielle Allman.
David John Luddington.
Mathana Sala Asalani.
Catherine Blunt.
Richard Esaku Arima.
Tehun Ma.
George John Aspiotis.
Benjamin Michael Makuga.
Tara Manyam Babu.
Brian Kevin Madden.
Rebecca Louise Badley.
Aaron Joshua Moramus.
Kelly Aaron Bailey.
Matthew Ian Malkin.
Anastasi Bakopoulos.
Kathleen Ann Malloy.
Brian Robert Baldesare.
Jennifer Marie Martin.
Alexis Lauren Banasak.
Jeremy A. Martinzik.
Danica Ann Barnes.
Holly Marie Mazak.
Jennifer Millicent Barnes.
Bradford Ryan McCall.
Christian Anthony Barone.
Jason James McCowan.
Jason Edward Barrett.
Carrie Olipas McGrath.
Kara Michelle Bartlett.
Timothy George McGrath.
Stacy Lee Basil.
Michael McGroarty Jr.
Ann Elizabeth Botts.
Dustin Matthew McKay.
David Christopher Bell.
Michael Gordon McKinney.
Jeffrey W. Weaver Jr.
Timothy Charles Meehan.
Ann Elizabeth Beisel.
Amanda Louise Messina.
Ryan Joseph Benedetti.
Timothy Malavik.
Catherine Leanne Beresic.
Jonathan Patrick Lewis Miller.
Patrick Thomas Bird.
Garrett Joseph Moon.
Robin Jennifer Blattner.
Jennifer Lynn Mudge.
Christian Boscarini.
Joshua Adam Mulholland.
Monica Lynn Bowes.
Melanie Rose Morocco.
Laura Michelle Breen.
Hugh Joseph Murphy III.
Stacy Lee Brett.
Matthew James Nania.
Christopher Lee Broderick.
Kristen Elizabeth Newcamp.
Jason Inule Brown.
Lacey Elizabeth Nicolella.
Theo Allen Busey.
Kristen Loge Oaks.
Neil Jacob Burns.
Blake Andrew Olak.
Megan Rose Campbell.
Catherine Michelle O'Neill.
Amber Elaine Capra.
Jennifer Lynn O'Patchen.
Julie Lynn Karras.
Robert Christopher Opal.
Megan Drummond Kavanaugh.
Timothy James O'Reilly.
Kristen Catherine Saloni.
Andrew James Oderson.
Jason James Savar.
Komal Parikh.
David Andrew Chandler.
Danny Pascarelli.
Elizabeth Youngjin Chang.
Stephen Vincent Pembroke.
Kara Nancy Christensen.
Ronald Fiddy-Acorn,
Byron Allen Clark,
Christopher Regis Piquel,
Stephen James Klink,
Eric Matthew Pilsitz,
Andrew Jonathan Cole,
Lily Ann Wahapidsak,
Brian Thomas Coleman,
Sarah Beth Pulaski,
Brendan Michael Colopy,
Faith Perrier,
Michael Patrick Corcoran,
Human Radfart,
Darren David Kaslov,
Walter Curtis Radke,
James Eusted Kramer,
Matthew John Frappiel,
Heather Ann Crawford,
Zachary Brian Ramos,
David Worley Crane,
William Purnell Rankin Jr.,
Jacqueline Diane Christ,
Jacqueline Elise Regal,
Tisha Shali Crossley,
Emily Ann Reason,
Jonathan Philip Currents,
Lindsay Ann Rechtenwald,
Gina Marie Chakowski,
Preetham Reddy,
Jason Matthew Doherty,
Patrick Timothy Redmond,
Mark John Davis,
Carrie Ann Koss Reed,
Anthony Severio DiBartolo,
Evander Hartwell Remington,
Lauren Michelle DeKoski,
Brooke Colleen Remmers,
Barry Allen Deems II,
Brett Adam Renschler,
Jeffrey Thomas Donahue,
Jason Douglas Restivo,
Nadia Marie Drozda,
Amanda Lee Riston,
John William English,
Andrew John Rockenstein,
Molly Conant Esposito,
Kent Stephen Rodswick,
Joseph Leon Faisant IV,
Pamela Lynn Rogers,
Lauren Elizabeth Frajerski,
Nicole Juliette Ross,
Sarah Elizabeth Farley,
Elizabeth Ann Rowland,
Christian Joseph Fiddler,
Matthew Hank Rulong,
Gregory Michael Fink,
Eric George Resnick,
Mary Dornan Frame,
Renelle Laracus Sagana,
Paul John Franz III,
Jill Marie Sampe,
Matthew Edward Fuchs,
Erica Allison Sandman,
Emiko Faruya,
Tammy Sankar,
Patricia Ann Garrity,
Joseph Anthony Sanker,
Michael James Geis,
Jacqueline Marie Sawicki,
Andrea Lee Gianni,
Christoph George Heinrich Schmidt,
Stephanie Renee Gianni,
Teresa Marie Shirley,
Scott Patrick Glade,
Aviel Kai Selkovitz,
Michael Charles Glosser,
Gwendolyn Julie Shipley,
Aaron Michael Gold,
Jacqueline Marie Schock,
Bailey Adler Goldberger,
Vikram Singh,
Graham Richard Green,
Lonnie Michelle Scruck,
Marissa Haley Green,
Bethany Susan Smoser,
Rachel Beth Green,
Nicholas Ryan Sobosinski,
Amelia Marie Garino,
Robert Nelson Solonday IV,
Rebecca Lynn Gerba,
Brian Matthew Spack.
Lindsay Anise Haddad.
Jessica Marie Spazok.
Chad McDonald Hall.
Aaron Michael Stahura.
Lucas Romano Hollowell.
Sean Wilson Steiner.
Brian Joseph Hayes.
Joshua Allen Stevens.
Christopher Allen Heilman.
Jeffrey Mark Stein.
Diane Margaret Hines.
Stephen Douglas Stockton Jr.
Chad Allen Hemman.
James Arthur Storer III.
Matthew John Heineman.
Timothy Mitchell Stoughton.
Matthew Legree Hips, Executive Officer, Student Council.
Nicholas Gordon Strokes.
Heather Ann Hooka.
Kara Jean Sujansky.
Michael James Homburg.
Sean Conley Sullivan.
Andrew Nolan Hoskins.
Sean Thomas Sullivan.
Dana Lewis Howe.
Jordan David Tapple.
Scott Thomas Hudson.
Leanna Renee Tallarica.
Camille Brianne Hewlin.
Hendra Tan.
Ian Patrick Hurley.
Courtney Danielle Thompson.
Elaine Marie Herson.
Michelle Lee Tomney.
Leslie Rose Huang.
Christine Marie Trinidou.
Jeffrey Martin Ives.
Raquel Patrine Tripp.
Tabitha Nicole Jacob.
Matthew Walter Trigard.
Bora Jenisevic.
Pavone Tumati.
James David Jarzabek.
Patrick Lewis Valasek. Executive Officer, Student Council.
Jeffrey Robert Jenkins.
Michael Owen Vaughn.
Joshua Wayne Johnson.
Darren James Verlato.
Laura Beth Johnson.
Kurt Nicholas Vernon.
Stephanie Lee Johnson.
Laura Jean Vaccaro.
J. Cody Junko.
John Zachary Vallejos.
Amit Jagan Karambelkar.
Devin Charles Vollmer.
Courtney Lee Katzer, Executive Officer, Student Council.
Robert Brian Walsh.
Scott Michael Kelly.
Elizabeth Marie Watkins.
Danielle Kerr.
Kimberly Jean Weekland.
David Daniel Kilwine.
John Robert Welsh.
David Tongsuk Kim.
Derek Jeffrey Werner.
Andrew James Conzen.
James Allen Wheeler.
John Chamberlain Kramer.
David Edward Whitaker.
Jeffrey Griffin Krumsky.
Ryan Fitzgerald White.
Jennifer Lynn Kurtz.
Brian Robert Wickman.
Iku Kasumoto.
Brian Kent Wiggins.
Reagan Marie Latchett.
Joshua Brian Weiland.
Bridget Aaron Laffey.
Bethany Lynn Wright.
Stephanie Jean Lang.
Benjamin Isaac Yogman.
David Allen Latanzi.
Sarah Hardy Yost.
Dana Jean Lewis.
Patrick Daniel Young.
Dylan Carlson Lewis.
Paul Christopher Zambry.
Rachel Denise Litt.
Lisa Renee Zalesniak. Scott Timothy Zemba. Stacy Lynn Zemba.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulate with me the graduating class of 1998.